Daniel chapter 7, lesson 8, part 1. You will recall that the chapter sequence is out of order as compared to the actual timeline of events. Chapter 1 is sort of an introduction chapter. Chapters 2 through 6 highlight events wherein kings are humbled and the true God is glorified. Chapter 7 through 12 review specific visions given to Daniel by God, visions of the future. Daniel has a vision of 4 beasts coming up out of the sea. Daniel 7:1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head on his bed. Then he wrote them down and told the sum of the matters. There is a good deal of symbolism in all of this. We are introduced to beasts and horns and specific numbers. Daniel 7:2 through 3. Daniel spoke and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the sky broke forth on the great sea. 4 great animals came up from the sea, diverse from one another. Sort of a symbolic description of an ongoing warfare between satanic and godly powers. There is something to that. Satanic principalities and powers do stand behind the evil rulers of this world. That being said, it is clear to me that the thrust of these passages deals with real earthly leaders and events that will indeed occur. The book makes that clear by going into extensive detail, historically accurate detail, especially in chapter 11. The 4 beasts of chapter 7 are represented in Revelation chapter 13. In a composite form, the 4 beasts are lumped together into one beast in Revelation. The beast in Daniel represent 4 empires and associated kings. It is helpful to recall the statue or image represented in chapter 2. 4 empires are represented with a final, loosely aligned kingdom of 10 nations. 10 could be a symbolic round number. The statue likely represents the same empires as those in this vision of the beasts. In each case, chapter 2 and chapter 7, a final kingdom is set up, a godly kingdom that will have no end. Daniel seems to be comprised of parallel accounts related to world powers leading up to the final kingdom of God. That also seems to be the case with the New Testament book of Revelation. Each account adds more detail to the picture. One could break down the parallel accounts as Daniel 2:29 through 45, Daniel chapter 7, Daniel chapters 8 and 9. Daniel chapter 9 seems to be a further explanation by Gabriel with some relation to chapter 8. Daniel chapters 10, 11, and 13. It is also helpful to realize that each of the 4 empires had at least tactic control of Jerusalem. That will probably be the case with the 10 associated kings, really the 11 kings. Or, if 10 is more of a round number showing completeness, then we would be looking for a final, loosely aligned confederation of many leaders that would probably at least try to control Jerusalem. That awaits its future fulfillment. While here have been other great empires, China for example, those 4 empires were important with respect to the Jewish people, with respect to Jerusalem. And by extension, Christianity, which has its root in the Jewish Messiah. Daniel chapter 7, lesson 8, part 1, the end.